time is 8:30. CQ, everybody. This is the Kanawha Amiture Radio Club Sunday night 2-meter net. This is net control. This is N8XEA, November 8 X-ray Echo Alpha. And I'm Randy. I'm up in Creed. Of course, you know it's a directed net. I want you to go through net control to contact another station till after the net's finished. We may handle some traffic and probably share some amateur radio news information and activities. If you're listening on a scanner, good evening to you as well. We meet every Sunday night, 8:30. And you're not required to be a Kanawha Amiture Radio Club member to check in. So, you know the drill. When you check in, your call sign, your name, and your location would be great. And phonetics, slow. Phonetics is always better. So with that, any Aries or races info? Any priority traffic or written traffic? Any stations with announcements? All right, let's get some check-ins. Let's find out who's up on a Sunday evening here. First net of the month. Check-ins from mobile station handhelds. Give you a shot at it first. Come now.
Golf 8 Quebec uniform, KG8QU, on the South Coast. Whiskey Alpha 3 Zulu United Mobile.
Net control, please check in. Whiskey Victor 8, Whiskey Victor uniform, Joe South Hills, Handy Talkie, no traffic.
Net control, this is Whiskey Victor 8, Radio Charlie, no traffic, Handy Talkie, no traffic, thank you.
Net control, please check in Kilo Echo 8, Victor November Oscar, KE8 VNO, Bill and Rand, no traffic.
Check in November 8 to Lima Hotel, Randy in South Charleston, no traffic.
Net control, this is Kilo Echo 8, Romeo Zulu, Alex, Mobile in Motion, South Charleston.
This is Whiskey Alpha 8, Sierra India.
Okay, good place to stop. I'll go back to the top of the list here. And first, I get probably two stations, tremendous double there, so a couple of you I did not get. But who I did receive is John, South Charleston, KG8QU on your handy talkie. WA8ZU. Give me a name and location, sir.
All is Whiskey Alpha 3 Zulu United. Name is Carl. And I guess I'm officially in Kanawha City right now.
Well, thank you, Carl. Welcome to the net. You're right. Riding fast here. I couldn't make out my 3. Got you on the log. Good evening, Joe, and your handy talkie, WV8WVU. Always good to hear you. Of course, Rick, your handy talkie is pretty loud, too, WV8RC. Howdy, Bill, KE8 VNO. Who's next? Aha, Randy. Guess where I was all day today, just back in time for the net. You guessed it, N8LH in South Charleston. Alex, you said you're on the move there, KE8RRZ, I believe. Is that correct, Alex?
That is correct, thank you.
Thank you. And Joe, WA8SIE in South Charleston. Okay, probably a couple of stations I missed. Come now, please.
On the west side.
In Albany, no traffic. Okay, double again.
check in Kilo Echo 8 Romeo Sierra Alpha from the grill in St. Albans, no traffic.
Was there another station? Okay, KE8 RSA. I take it you mean on the grill outside in St. Albans. Okay, it brings us up to the top here. Still taking mobile and handheld stations tonight before we go to armchair check-ins.
Net control, this is Kilo Echo 8, Tango X-ray uniform, Taylor South Hills, no traffic.
November 8, Victor Mike November, N8 VMN, Charles, Charleston.
Net control, did you get an 8LW?
Well, I did just now, Clay. I think maybe you were one of the ones that was doubling there, but I got you on the log. N8 LW Clay. Hello, Charles. W8VMN and Taylor South Hills KE8TXU. And who else? KE8, I had that with before, St. Albans, KE8RC. Okay, I think we're caught up here. So we'll make the transition over to those folks inside the air conditioning on their armchair radio. Come now. Oh, by the way, I need ID. This is November 8 X-Ray Echo Alpha. N8 XEA net control for the Kanawha Amiture Radio Club, Sunday night, 2-meter net. More check-ins. Come now.
Net control. Net control, please copy Kilo Bravo 8, Zulu India Oscar. That's KB8 VIO Scott, cross lanes. Net control. Please check in Kilo Delta 8, Romeo Quebec Yankee. KD8 RQY, Jeff on Little Tyler. No traffic.
KM8G, Kilo Mike 8 Golf, Mark, Lincoln County.
Kilo Alpha 8 Victor, India Victor. Bill and Rand, no traffic. No Randy.
This is Kilo Golf 8 Alpha India, John in Boca, no traffic.
Net control, please check in Kilo 8 Lima, uniform Charlie, John in Mount Nebo, no traffic.
Hey, John, give me your prefix again.
Kilo Echo 8 Lima, uniform Charlie.
Okay, thank you, John. Got you now. I didn't signal, didn't make the prefix here. KE8LUC. John, got you in Mount Nebo. Good signal from up there. John, you're on the log as well. KG8AI. Howdy, Bill. Up in Rand. KE8VIV. Mark, sounds like you've got a cold. KMAG. Got you on the log, and let's see, Jess on Little Tyler. You're loud and clear as well, KD8RQY. And howdy, Scott. In X lanes, KB8ZIO. That catches us up to date. Any additional check-ins? Okay, very good. Well, I have Newsline coming up in just a second. The meeting not last night, but Friday night, if anyone needs to talk about the upcoming ham event at Coonskin, we can do that in the form of an announcement if anyone has any. I'll stand by. Any announcements about our event coming up? Okay, very good. Well then, stand by for Newsline, and after that we'll I'll see if anyone else is tuned in tonight. This is Net Control, November 8th, X-Ray Echo Alpha. Stand by for this week's Newsline.
Report number 2379, with a release date of Friday, June 2nd, 2023, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is the QST. The Rockall Island B expedition is on the air and rocking. A supernova sends a message to Earth by radio. And CW enthusiast goes from pounding the brass to winning it. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2379 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Damron in a TMW. The big challenge is on. Our top story takes us to the uninhabitable granite islet in the North Atlantic Ocean known as Rockall Island, which is being activated by 2 amateur radio operators. Ed Durant, PD5LP, takes us there.
As Newsline went to production, 2 hams were on the air and the competition for contact was predictably intense. It's a challenge for chasers around the world. For the hams, the challenge is even bigger. Emil Bergman, DL8JJ, and Nobby Styles, G0VJF, hope to break the record of a 46-day stay on the rock set in 2014. The pair and their exhibition leader Cam Cameron plan to stay on the rock for as long as 50 or 60 days and raise £50,000 for charity. This coveted DX is designated IOTA number EU189 and is a most wanted location. Be listening for MM0UKI and cross your fingers that they are listening for you. This is Ed Durant, PD5LP.
Radio waves have been known to carry some important messages over the years. But one recent message received by a research team led by scientists at Stockholm University contained a cosmic message. Here's Ralph Squillaci, KK6ITB, with that story.
Scientists have picked up radio waves revealing the presence of an unusual type of supernova, a thermonuclear supernova, the kind used by researchers to measure the expansion of our universe. After the supernova's discovery, scientists at the WM Keck Observatory in Hawaii detected helium emission, another significant marker. To SciTech Daily, the discovery of this type of supernova, known as Type 1A, is the first to be accomplished via radio waves. The helium emission is seen as evidence that an exploding compact white dwarf star had pulled helium from the outer layer of a companion star, the donor star, while the supernova was being triggered. That material is more commonly hydrogen. Discovery is an accomplishment on another level too, according to researcher Eric Kuhl of the Stockholm team. The journal Nature that astronomers have been trying to accomplish this kind of detection by radio for decades. Ralph Squillaci, KK6ITB.
In some parts of the U.S. where it's nearly hurricane season, it's also the season for volunteering to look out for them, as we hear from Randy Sly, W4XJ.
For 59 straight seasons, the Hurricane Watch Net has been activating for hurricanes that make landfall, as well as helping those in affected areas before, during, and after a hurricane. Just ahead of this year's season, the word is going out in the southern and eastern United States and the Caribbean that HWN needs you. They are looking for more people who can get on the air from the areas hit by the storm. Net Manager Bobby Graves, KB5HAV, quickly offered cautionary words, telling AR Newsline, of course, priority number 1 for anyone is to do all you can to protect your property, home, family, and yourself. It's always safety first. But if hams are safe at home or in a storm shelter where a portable station can be set up. The net would like to hear from them. Piece of weather data, measured or estimated, is considered to be important information by the forecasters at the National Hurricane Center. WatchNet covers the Caribbean, Central America, Eastern Mexico, Eastern Canada, as well as the U.S. Atlantic and Gulf Coast states. Hams normally operate on 14.325 megahertz by day and 7.268 megahertz by night. In addition to taking storm reports, we also stand ready to relay any emergencies for health and welfare traffic, as well as relaying the latest information about storms in English and Spanish. Information about the Hurricane WatchNet, please visit their website, www.hwn.org. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
Two satellite enthusiasts recently lost a contact that they claim has set a new record. Neil Rapp, WB9BPG, brings us more.
Two satellite enthusiasts are claiming a new USO distance record with the SO-50 satellite in a May 24th contact that covered 5,584 kilometers, the distance between Michigan and Northern Ireland. Joe, KE9AJ, notes on his StoreZ.com page that he has long had a particular enthusiasm for extreme distance satellite USOs. He and George, MI0ILE, were able to log one another and claim bragging rights to having beaten the previous record by 61 kilometers. That record was set in 2018 by Jerome, F4DXC, and Scott, N1AIA, between France and Maine. This is Neil Rapp, WB9BPG.
The amateur radio community has been shaken by the loss of someone who was a familiar face, a familiar voice, and a friend to many, including those of us at Amateur Radio Newsline. Chip Margelli, K7JA, has become a silent speaker. We hear more about it from Don Wilbanks, AQ5DW.
Chip Margelli, K7JA, was many things to many of us. A top-notch contester in numerous ARRL and CQ magazine competitions. A silver medalist at the 1990 World Radio Sport Team Championship, and a polished operator of CW, who was admitted into the first-class CW Operators Club. Chip, who became a silent P on May 25th, even achieved national notoriety outside the amateur radio community when he appeared on a U.S. late-night talk show with TV host Jay Leno in 2005 in an on-screen rivalry that pitted his CW proficiency against the speed of the U.S. champion in fast cell phone text messaging. Champion of the E.C. Krenkel Medal in 2021, Chip was also listed in the CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame. Over the years, he worked for such companies as Yazoo USA, Heil Sound, Ham Radio Outlet, and for CQ Magazine. He was a personal friend to many of us at Amateur Radio Newsline. Chip was present in 1986 with Newsline co-founder and treasured friend, the late Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF, at the very first ceremony introducing the Young Ham of the Year Award and its subsequent ceremonies at the Huntsville Ham Fest. Rest well, Chip. You leave many grieving friends behind. Wilbanks, AE5DW.
You're a member of the Radio Society of Great Britain and have strong skills in writing and editing, plus technical knowledge relevant to electronics and amateur radio. This job just might suit you. Jeremy Booth, G4NJH, has the details.
Lee Aldridge, G4EJB, the editor of Radcom Basics, has announced his retirement later this year, and the RSGB is seeking a replacement. Radcom Basics publishes material focusing on new amateurs and those who want to develop greater skills in the fundamentals. A successful applicant will assign articles and work with authors in developing them and will be responsible for writing additional articles. There are also editing responsibilities that include handling copy sent in by regular contributors and others. The Radcom Basics editor reports to Radcom's managing editor. For details about the job, including salary range being offered, send an email to radcom@rsgb.org.uk. This is Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world. including the N5OZG repeater of the Crescent City Amateur Radio Group in Metairie, Louisiana, following the net on Sundays at 8 p.m.
WAGK repeater, Charleston.
As good as perfect propagation. How about a ham radio haiku? We're inviting listeners to channel their most creative selves and share the joy of ham radio in the form of a haiku. On our website, arnewsline.org, you'll find a submission form for sending your most poetic offering. Be sure you follow the traditional form to qualify. The first line is 5 syllables, second line is 7 syllables, and the finishing third line has another 5 syllables. Our team will pick from the best submissions that follow the 5-7-5-syllable rule and represent the love of amateur radio. Your prize? Fame and glory, of course, and a featured spot for your haiku on the Amateur Radio Newsline website. Visit our website at arnewsline.org to see this week's winning haiku. A California amateur is facing a $24,000 fine from the FCC, which has charged him with deliberate interference with a regularly scheduled 80-meter net held by the Western Amateur Radio Friendship Association. Philip J. Bodette, N6PJB, is said to have repeatedly interfered with the net and failed to identify himself by his call sign. They released a notice of apparent liability for forfeiture on May 30th, outlining the case against him. The agency said that last November and December, an agent from the San Francisco field office used direction finding on 3.908 megahertz, and on both occasions was able to identify the ham's burning California home as the source of the interference cited in repeated complaints to the agency. The notice states that Bodette has 30 days to respond either with payment or a written statement seeking a reduction or cancellation of the supposed forfeiture. Space on the spectrum awaits amateurs in Belgium, and Jeremy Booth, G4NJH, has that story.
Hams in Belgium will soon be enjoying the privileges enjoyed by those in South Africa, Slovenia and Ireland by gaining access to the 8-meter band. The UPA, the Royal Belgian Amateur Radio Union, is proposed giving hams with a Class A operating certificate a HARRC full license, the ability to get on the air with as much as 5 watts ERP and a bandwidth limited 3 kilohertz. Permission is to be granted to individuals following approval from the Belgian regulator EICC. The two range being authorized is between 40.660 and 40.690 megahertz. This is Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
Hospitalized children outside Washington, D.C. were given a chance to talk with an ISS astronaut recently on amateur radio. Patrick Clark, KATAC, tells us how things went.
Having fulfilled the first part of his space mission a few days earlier to arrive on board the ISS, astronaut John Schaffner, KO4MJC, got underway with one of his next goals, to share the joys and opportunities of STEM studies as an educator. On May 26th, he shared that view from space through a QSO with youngsters at the Children's Inn in Bethesda, Maryland. It was a celebrate contact at Base Eastern Ground Station in Belgium with the call sign SPIN4ISS. The youngsters at the Children's Inn learned about life in space and got a closer look at the way amateur radio can connect people. The Children's Inn provides a free residential environment for children and young adults who are patients at the National Institutes of Health as a means of reducing stress on the young patients and furthering the Institute's clinical research. With the help of ARRL and amateur radio, the youngsters also got a view of the great things that can happen beyond the bounds of planet Earth. This is Patrick Clark, KATAC.
We were saddened some time ago by the passing of Richard G4CUT, whose Southgate Amateur Radio News website served as a reliable global bulletin board for many, including amateur radio podcasters. This badly missed resource is now being revived and provided by Kale, K4HBK, through his new Amateur Radio Daily website. Once the domain name is transferred from Southgate ARC, its URL will also route to there. This is a new resource available for hams and clubs looking to get word out about their activities. So if you want other hands to see what your club is up to, visit Amateur Radio Daily at daily.hamweekly.com or simply send the story directly to Kale via email to k4hck@hamweekly.com. Kale's new website will display the submitted stories and provide an RSS feed to receive daily updates automatically as they arrive and are posted. The BX, be listing for BU7W, the call being used by Eurus, YL2GM on Minicoy Island, IOTA number AS106, in the Lekshot Reef Islands. He'll be on the air throughout June, focusing on the 6-meter band, with some operation on other HF bands. QSOs are to be uploaded to Logbook of the World. Special event station I23UV is on the air now through June 11th, using CW and SSB on all the HF bands, marking the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Alpine Group of Tolmexo and the Kanawha section. A certificate will be available as a downloadable PDF for all stations who make contact. For other details, see QRZ.com. For Dan, F5BBC on the air as MM/F5BBC from several islands off Scotland's west coast until the 15th of June. He'll operate SSB, SC8, and SC4 on 40, 20, 15, and 10 meters. QSL information available QRZ.com. Rick, BL2VFR, and Fred, BL4BB8 will operate as LA/BL2VFR and LA/BL4BB8 from IOTA Group EU061 and the Vala National Park in Norway from the 2nd to the 6th of June. They'll be using CW and SSB. This is an IOTA and Worldwide Flora and Fauna expedition. QSL details are available on QRZ.com. For our final story, we talked to a ham who took a test that may have been just a little bit harder than the one for his amateur radio license. What? It was on national TV. Graham Kemp, PK4BB, tells us how it all played out.
CW has always been a perfect fit for Richard Eyre, Victor Kilo 6 Papa Zulu Tango, since he became a ham 10 years ago. Unaccustomed as he is to speaking publicly on or off the air, he's most comfortable when he lets the Dips and Dars do his talking for him. So, why would he opt to get on the air, in this case on a national TV program, where he had to answer questions and even trade gently disparaging remarks to the host, kind of sledging worthy of any cricket pitch? It's because the Australian hit TV show Hard Quiz did test his trivia knowledge about his beloved CW. Oh, and because his two daughters asked him to. On Wednesday, the 31st of May, TV fans watched the medical sonographer square off in the Melbourne studio against 3 other contestants who, like him, were originally from England, Australia's rival this month in the Test Series cricket matches. So he studied hard in pursuit of the show's coveted brass marks. As he told Newsline recently, I've challenged myself to find out something new about Morse code once per day for about 1 year prior to the show and made notes in a small blue book. I asked my family and friends at our local Bunbury Radio Club to come up with the most obscure questions possible for me to answer. In fact, he said, I think if I spent as much time practicing my copying as I did reading about the code and how it was developed or used over the last 100 years, I'd be a much better operator. No worry there. Richard scored a strong victory and got to take away the huge 5-kilogram mug. Now, instead of just pounding the brass, he'll be drinking from it. This is Graham Kemp, PK4BB.
Do you have a piece of amateur radio news you think Newsline would be interested in? We're not talking about advertising the club's upcoming handfest or field day participation, but something out of the ordinary. If so, send a brief overview by way of the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we'd like to cover it, we'll get back to you. To Amateur Radio Daily on the Rishnag Bishwash BU2JFA, AMSAT News Service, Harris, ARRL, Kale, K4HCK, CQ Magazine, Stereo Rovito, IV3HXF, David BR, K7DB, DXWorld.net, FCT, 425DXG, Jenny Tupper, Mark Belton Productions, QRZ.com, Radio Society of Great Britain, Radio World, SciTech Daily, Science News, shortwaveradio.de, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know we appreciate you all. We also remind listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to it. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Cameron, NATMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
Alright, that control here is November 8 X-Ray Echo Alpha. That was Newsline. Let's see if anyone else wants to check in tonight on the log before we close.
UV-8RC.
Go ahead, Rick.
I'd like to make an announcement that we have a upcoming field day. The 23rd of June is set up, and we do need all the help we can get. WV8RC.
Any questions for Rick about field day? Okay, any other check-ins?
Kilowatt Delta 8 Zulu United.
Last guy's checked in, KD8 Zulu United. Anyone else have anything for the net tonight? Alrighty. We'll go ahead and close it then. Appreciate all the stations checking in tonight. And don't forget, as Rick mentioned, field day is coming up. We won't have another meeting until field day, I guess. So if there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and close the net session. Thank everybody for checking in, and remind you about next Sunday's regularly scheduled net at 8:30. Got a total of 20 check-ins. I'll wish everyone 7-3. Hope you have a great week, and maybe hear you on the repeater this week. This is N8XEA. Clear.
Thank you very much, Randy. WV8RC.
Thank you, Rick.
N8XCE, I believe it was, had N8 and LM at the end of the net there. I got busy and sidetracked, and I heard somebody talking, and I thought, oh, the net. Anyway, 73s, N8 and LM.
Okay, well, no problem. The same thing happens when you get busy. N8LMN. Is that correct?
N8 November Lima Mike.
All right. Very good. Swap phonetics are always better. Appreciate you checking in. We have a total then of 21 check-ins. Thanks for getting on the log tonight. Have yourself a good week. 7-3. N8XEA.
QSL 73s. N8 NLM.
N8XEA, Randy, this is WV8RC. If you're still around, Fred is in Florida.